Well, welcome back in, everybody, to another edition of the longest running golf talk show in the country, the 19th Hole Golf Podcast. Glad to have you with us today. I'm your host, Dennis Silvers. We've got a wonderful show in store for you. We have a gentleman coming on making his first appearance on the show, and we are very, very happy that he was making the time for us. And I think you're thoroughly going to enjoy him because this gentleman's like an encyclopedia of what's going on in the golf industry. Let me tell you a little bit about our special guest. Alex Miceli is an award-winning golf journalist for over 2 decades. Alex is also a fellow podcaster who co-hosted a weekly podcast called The Grill Room, which I used to listen to all the time, I believe with my good friend Bob Bupka. And in 2019, Alex started his own podcast, which we'll learn a little bit more about, called The Morning Listen. Alex was also the founder of golf.com, which I'm sure you're familiar with, and then founded Golf Press Association, which is a service that provides golf content to various news agencies, magazine, newspapers, website. You get the idea. Alex has also written for numerous newspapers, magazines, and websites. He is extremely well connected within the golf industry, so knows a lot about what's going on. So my pleasure right now to bring our special guest up on camera, Alex Miceli. Alex, thank you so much for taking time out and joining the show. Very, very happy to have you aboard. Let me start off and ask you this. When did you become aware that you had the talent, and it is a talent, for journalism and writing, and why golf?
Wow, Dennis. Well, thanks a lot for the intro. I appreciate the fact that you call it talent. I'm not sure all my brethren would necessarily agree with you, but it's an odd way that I got into golf. I actually started golf.com back in the 90s in theory because there wasn't a lot. Anybody that's 40 years old or younger has no clue about what it used to be like, to be honest with you. So like if you were going to travel from, Chicago to London, let's say, and you wanted to go play golf, or Chicago to Austin, Texas, or where, you had no idea what was there.
Yeah.
You have no idea what golf courses were there, what times, what were public, what were private. You had no idea. So I thought, well, it'd be great to start something where you could get that information. And it evolved into, that would have been in 94, 95.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't own golf.com at the time. Nobody actually did. Didn't know anything about the internet, but eventually acquired golf.com from somebody that was basically parking it and took it and made it into something other than just a golf travel site.
Yeah.
And that's how that all started. And I got lucky. NBC Sports was a partner. Golf Digest was a partner. And the Baby Bell that used to be in the Mountain States was another partner. So I had 3 partners of huge corporations.
Pretty strong.
And it was quite interesting until we sold it in 2000. It was a pretty interesting ride. But all that being said, I never, ever thought that I would be a journalist and spent 30 years covering golf or actually writing for a living. And I can tell you that if you talk to my wife or anybody that knew me at that time, they would have agreed wholeheartedly that would not have been what I would be doing.
Yeah. It's a great way to make a living, my friend. And you're very, very good at it. Alex, with all the back and forth garbage going on between the PGA Tour and the Live Tour, do you think that Jay Monahan will eventually lose his job?
I think he will eventually be out of his job. Does he lose it or does he give it up? That's the question. I mean, if I'm Jay, I'm really wondering at this point, why am I still commissioner of the PGA Tour? What am
Yeah.
I doing? Why would I put myself through this?
Yeah.
I don't understand that part of it. His contract is up next year. I think in the middle of next year. Will the board support him and keep him? It's hard to say. The assumption would be that the non-playing members of the board probably would support him. The playing members of the board, I'm not sure that's necessarily as clear. The SSG guys, the people that just poured in a billion five, he's very tight with John Henry, who's Fenway Sports Group that's invested in the tour through
Right.
SSG. He's not as familiar with some of the other people that invested. I wouldn't. I would say that John Henry would support him. I don't know what the other people would feel, but I would have to say in the last, I don't know, ever since this all started, Jay has done a terrible job at his job. And before this, Jay did, I thought, a very good job, especially through steering everybody through the pandemic.
Yeah.
As nice as Jay is as a person, and there's no question about the fact that he is a great person, he's just not the person that should be the commissioner or the CEO of this new entity that they need to be looking for and should have somebody else in place.
Yeah. Yeah. And he seems to be getting along with the people on the other side, so to speak, from Live, and they get something going and it falls apart and this and that. And it's just people are tired of it. They need to get it straightened out. And there's a lot of reasons why, and we have to see where it really ends up. And I think it is going to resolve itself over a period of time, and we got to get it going. Alex, what would you do if given the chance to help increase the falling TV ratings that the PGA Tour is starting to experience?
Well, I think you definitely have to put a better product on television. And that's not just the players doing something different, but it's also the networks doing something different.
Yeah.
It's interesting when you look at NBC and their Sunday night coverage of the NFL, or you look at CBS or NBC or Fox, they have hired and spent millions of dollars beyond the rights fees to support those broadcasts. If it's Mike Tirico, if it's Joe Buck, if it's Troy Aikman, whoever it is, they have spent millions of dollars making sure that those products have the best, the best announcers,
Right.
the best, basically creating the best product they could create. That is not true with golf, and it's not true with the PGA Tour. It's not true with NBC in golf. It's not true with CBS in golf. It's not
Yeah.
true with the Golf Channel. And so you have products that, the PGA Tour product needs some work, but not a lot of work in regards to the playing part of the equation,
Right.
what you're seeing on air.
I agree.
It's what you're hearing on air. It's what you're doing with the product that you have. And I think that's the problem.
100%.
Baseball is a great example of, especially with the sped up pitch clock and all that now. It's amazing how I could listen to a game on the radio. And I listen to a lot of Cubs games on the radio. I listen on the radio. I may not know what the count is through 4 pitches, but they are keeping me entertained. They're making it interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why Vin Scully is Vin Scully. That's
Right.
why if you went to the guy that used to be with the Reds, or the guy that used to be with the Tigers, or the
Yep.
guys that were with the Yankees, that's what that was. That they're not telling you what you can see in front of you. They're giving you something else.
Right.
Why is it that we don't get that in golf?
Yeah. 100%. I could not agree with you more, Alex. And speaking of NBC, CBS, Paul Azinger is coming back to the booth, as you know, for the PGA Tour Champions after Lanny Watkins finally is leaving. What do you think about Paul?
Paul left prematurely. the NBC deciding to let him go, basically offering him a contract. And when he came back and countered the contract offer, they said, "No, there's not. We're not entertaining a counter. You're gone."
Yeah.
He's being hired by the PGA Tour, actually, PGA Tour Entertainment, because that's how the whole system is running.
Yeah.
Even though the product will be on the Golf Channel or potentially, I guess, on NBC at times, but most likely not. Having Paul cover golf, I think he's one of the better guys. But to be honest with you, at near the end of his career at NBC, he didn't have the same fastball he had before, and that's going to just happen. I
Yeah.
think he's going to fit fine with the older guys. I think he's going to bring something to the table that maybe Lanny didn't bring, or at times Lanny Lanny, as you said, was older. But I think the thing that we have to understand is Paul Azinger is not going to be on site doing these broadcasts. He's going to be doing them from Jacksonville or Ponte Vedra Beach in this brand new facility the tour built.
Right.
And so that means he's not going to spend time with these players,
Right.
either before the round, during the round, or after the round. He's not going to go out to dinner with them or have
Correct.
breakfast with them. He's not going to have any exposure to them. So he's going to do 10 events where he's never actually seen the golf courses or the players. So I think, you got done asking me, what can you do? Well, that's not what you want to do, is it? That certainly is not
No.
what you're thinking. And that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's going to be it's kind of a virtual type of thing. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. No, I've always enjoyed Zinger, both as a player and as an announcer. And I thought Lanny Watkins was way past being gone because, yeah, I'm just happy. I'm just happy about it. Would you agree with me, Alex, talking about the quality of golf broadcasting? I think, and it's strictly just my opinion because I know all of these guys, the worst broadcasting in golf is on the Live Tour. I don't want to get you in
look.
trouble with anybody.
No, I'm not in trouble. Look, I'm not. I have to agree that it's not anything enjoyable. Again, I think what they were trying to do is to do something different,
Yeah.
and it clearly is different. It doesn't make it better, but it is different. And I think that one of the biggest problems that they have is everybody wants to be a homer. They all want to be also positive and rah rah about live. And that's not really what you're looking for. You should be doing it in a different way. I mean, everybody understands what the live situation is and what they're doing. Okay, once we knew that, then you got to move on. You got to start talking about golf as like we're covering golf.
Right.
And they don't really do that as well as they should.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, 100%. I agree. I think there's a lot of room there for improvement. And I'm not talking anything against these guys personally. They're all terrific individuals, but it's the performance of their job. Alex, do you think that the American LPGA players will ever dominate on their tour again, or does anybody really care?
Well, I think the answer to your second question, no, nobody cares. It's interesting. The LPGA has been around for a long, long time.
Yeah.
Much longer than the WNBA, much longer than women's soccer. And yet those sports are moving forward, and the LPGA to me is moving backwards. And it has nothing to do, as far as I'm concerned, it has nothing to do with where the players were born or raised or came from.
Right.
It has all to do about the fact that the tour does not understand what golf needs in 2025. And because of that, they're not doing anything to enhance the product. It's a slow product. You go out there, it's a boring, slow product. And I didn't think you could get more boring at times in the PGA Tour. But the LPGA has exceeded that by being even more boring. And then the exposure to the players and how the players should be more involved in the product. They're not. It was great. I mean, look, why is it Caitlin Clark could bring all these fans to South Florida in November, and you could take almost any other player and bring them there, and they will not bring the amount of fans or
Right.
interest as Caitlin
Right.
Clark.
Right.
That doesn't make any sense, right? It just doesn't make any sense.
No.
Here's Caitlin Clark. She just got out of college
Yeah.
this year, for goodness sakes, right? And that's what happens. You have a tour that's, I think what I will say is rudderless in a lot of ways. And you keep hearing about how they should be getting more money and they should be earning more money. You earn money when people get interested in what you're doing. The WNBA proved that. I mean, Caitlin Clark stood up and said, look, if we're going to bring all this interest to this game and to this league, we need to see it. And that she's not talking about herself. She understands that. She's talking about all the players that have been around her they've been out doing this for years. The LPGA, if you want more money, if you want bigger purses, if you want more interest, you need to step up yourselves. Don't be looking at anybody else. Look at yourself in the mirror and say, what can I do to make this product better? And haven't seen it.
Yeah, no, again, I agree. I think that's very, very well said. I think that's very well said. One last question before we take our first short break, Alex. What are your thoughts on Callaway splitting Top Golf into a separate company? And are we seeing perhaps the beginning of the end for social entertainment golf? And who would have thunk it?
Well, I think first of all, you have to ask the question, why did they bring them together to begin with? And they brought them together because they generated a lot of revenue. Yeah. In fact, actually, the last earnings report, which was 2 days ago, they generated more revenue than any other part of the company. Yet, they think the best thing is to split them off. And the reason I think that makes the most sense is because Callaway itself isn't a golf equipment company. They're not a restaurant chain.
Right.
And you know what? That's what Topgolf is. It's a restaurant chain. Just happens to have the ability to hit golf balls. I mean, that's where they're making their money, food and drink, right? So when Chip Brewer pushed for that, it just, I understand what he was trying to do, thinking it made a lot of sense, but how many conglomerates eventually didn't make any sense and they split them up? I mean, GE split themselves up, for goodness sakes.
Yeah.
You know, they had a division that was, electronic or aerospace. They had health machinery or, that kind of stuff. And then they had another division. I mean, they split themselves up.
Yeah.
And of course, today, if you look at the split product, it was so much better. In the end of the day, I think that makes the most sense. Chip Brewer is not a restaurateur, and nor should he be. And they should have thought about that before they brought it all together.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's going to be interesting to see where that goes. Anyway, Alex, stay with us. We're going to take our first short break. And when we do come back very soon, we'll have a lot more with our special guest, golf journalist, Alex Miceli. Be right back. Don't move. I'm Dennis Silvers, host of the 19th Hole Golf Podcast, asking each and every person who plays golf, beginner or seasoned player, what's the most important club in your bag? Chances are you'll get a lot of different answers. There really is only one right answer. And if you guessed your putter, you are 100% correct. Just ask any professional golfer, man or woman who plays on any major tour. I am very excited to announce that Zebra Golf, one of the game's most iconic putter brands, has made a long-awaited return to golf's retail marketplace with the launch of their milled series that feature 4 new putter styles designed to suit even my putting stroke. All putters, like golf clubs, are not created equal. Zebra mill putters are now offered in your choice of 4 awesome models, 2 blades, 1 mallet, and 1 higher MOI Fang design, with adjustable weights available to help customize your putter. All come with a mid-size grip for enhanced feel. So, if you want the one club that's going to lower your scores, why wait? Go to zebraputters.com and put one in your bag today. The only thing you've got to lose are strokes. Hi, I'm Dennis Silvers, host of the 19th Hole podcast for golfers. Here to tell you about a product that's improved my game, Poptical sunglasses. Unlike ordinary sunglasses, Popticals are collapsible using a unique rail system that lets you easily store them in their protective case. They offer crystal clear vision, UV protection, and are scratch resistant and water repellent. Poptical's Golf Pacific lenses feature purple and violet tints that reduce the grain saturation of golf courses and unleash the golfer's ability to distinguish between green gradients to identify course contours and variations on every shot, even grain patterns on the greens. Admittedly, they look great on and off the course. Plus, Popticals come with a 2-year warranty, a 30-day return policy, and make the perfect gift for the golfer in your life. Visit popticals.com for more info. All right, welcome back, everybody. We are very, very happy to welcome Zebra Golf onto the show as a sponsor. They were kind enough to send me, let me get this bad boy right, one of their putters. And I'll tell you, folks, it's not just a putter in your hand, it's magic. If it could help a stroke like I've got, you know it's good. So go to zebragolf.com, check out the new series, and I'm telling you, you're going to love them. You're going to love them. Anyway, back with our very special guest, award-winning golf journalist, Alex Miceli. Alex, why are you so high? Let me rephrase that. Well, yeah, why are you so high on Bernhard Langer?
Oh, wow. I mean, where do you start? I mean, it's kind of off the charts. I mean, he's 66 like me. So, I mean, that's the one thing. When somebody would say to you, I know how you feel, I know how he must feel, right? I'm 66 as well.
Right.
I don't know how anybody that's 66 could do what he's doing. I mean, golf is not an easy game, first of all.
No.
And yet he's got to go out, and he just had this Achilles issue, right?
Yeah.
You know, and here he is out there hitting golf balls out there with guys that are, I mean, Ernie Els and,
Yeah.
you know, it's like competing, not just hitting, but competing and then winning.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, 17 years on the Champions Tour, winning 47 times, I think it is. I mean, I don't know how. My question would be, why would you ask me that question? There's no question there. It's how can you be so high on a guy that's a great player? I
Yeah.
mean, that's just what it is. I mean, he's just a great player.
Yeah.
It's
He's a stud.
unfortunate. It's unfortunate that somehow, some way, he didn't do better on the PGA Tour. I think that's still a timing issue. I mean, if he was Rory McIlroy's time frame, Bernhard Langer might have been a much better player, and we might be talking to him a lot more than we do now.
Interesting.
You know, but that was a different era. I mean, Seve Ballesteros. It's always funny because I'm writing a story now about Rory, but Seve Ballesteros in the United States, who knows much about him? You know, he's a god in Europe, and to us, he's just
Yeah. He's another player.
another name.
Yeah.
Right, exactly, because of where he came when he came on the scene and when he
Right.
started playing. He hardly played any PGA Tour events. Just think if he was playing over 20 events a year for 20 years.
Yeah. You're right. You're absolutely right. But isn't that so true in today's world, Alex? If you walked up and down the practice tee when these guys are warming up, getting ready to go out to play a tournament, and you would go up to them and say, can you tell me anything about Bob Rosberg? And they look at you like, who? It's true with so many of the guys in the past, which is kind of a shame.
Yeah, I mean Rossi. I mean that's a great and Rossi not only played, but he announced for a
But he
long time on
announced,
ABC,
right?
right? So you would think you would know him, but I mean it's just amazing. I mean, here's a great example. Caitlin Clark, as we talked about, she was talking on Tuesday. Her favorite player, the one she used to watch, the one that she followed was Rory McIlroy.
Really?
Yeah, and wasn't Tiger Woods? It was Rory McIlroy. And that's kind of odd. I mean, I never really thought about that. That's a bit bizarre. I mean, Rory's only 35 years old.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting.
But you're right. I mean, it's so unfair when people have no idea. Jack and Arnold, that's one thing, and maybe
Yeah.
even Lee is another thing. But you start getting into it, and it just doesn't equate. I mean, people don't know McDonald Smith. They don't know Harry Varden. They
Right.
don't know any of these guys.
Right.
They sure as heck didn't know Peter Thompson,
No.
right? I mean, they just didn't. They just don't know,
Yeah.
and because of that, we've lost a lot. We've
Yeah.
lost a lot, and we, meaning journalists, have to continue to remind people who these people were.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to keep their legacy going. Absolutely. Because they were personalities. They were something else besides being great players. And you wonder, Alex, back in the day, these guys didn't have trainers. They didn't have mobile vans coming out. They didn't have an entourage. They went out at night and partied and still shot some great golf using the crap equipment that they did.
Well, I mean, I think Jack's a great example of that. I mean, the McGregor stuff he played was horrible.
Yeah.
The ball was horrible. And here's the other thing when you think about this. So Jack Nicklaus played McGregor when he was in the States. But anytime he went to Europe, he was forced to play a Slazenger ball and Slazenger equipment.
Uh-huh.
You see these guys, talk to these guys today and say, okay, hey, look, when you go to play in the Open Championship next year, don't bring your equipment, no need to. We're just going to give you some other stuff when you get here. Right?
I'll pass.
Don't worry
I'll
about
pass.
playing the normal. Yeah, don't worry about playing the normal golf ball. We're going to give you a smaller ball. You're going to have
That's
to just
funny.
play with that and kind of deal with that situation.
Yeah, that's
They have
funny.
no
Oh.
clue. They have no
my
idea what it
goodness.
was like.
Yeah. Will Tiger ever play the Champions Tour?
Yes, I think there's no doubt in my mind he will, for a couple of reasons. One is because he will get such immense pressure, not only from other players, but from the tour itself.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a huge deal if he decides to play.
Oh,
Now he
yeah.
doesn't have
Oh,
to play
yeah.
all the time. You know, he'll play. He might play 2 or 3 majors at
Yep.
first, maybe 1 or 2 events.
Yep.
That's fine. But the bottom line is that he knows that he is a big draw on that tour. He knows how much that can help that tour.
Oh, yeah.
He and as much as we have disagreed in the past, meaning him and I, on different things, his focus has always been on trying to grow the game to the extent that he can grow the game.
Yeah.
And I think that would help the game.
Yeah. Do you think that the PGA Tour will pay him some big bucks to help convince him to get out there and play?
Well, they got 1.5 billion from SSG, and if they do a deal with PIF, they'll do another 1.5 billion. So it's not like they won't have the cash sitting on the sidelines.
Yeah.
That being said, the one concern the tour has, and I just find this hard to believe, but the one concern the tour has is that the Champions Tour could actually outdraw, from a rating standpoint, the PGA Tour on the weeks that Tiger plays in it.
Interesting.
I mean, think about that.
Yeah. Interesting.
The likelihood of that happening is pretty good, especially
Yeah.
if depending on how diluted or poor the event is that week that the
Oh,
PGA
yeah.
Tour is playing.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm not sure. I mean, it's a difficult conundrum. I think the sponsor, depending on who the sponsor is, they may pony up some money. But, I mean, at some point, I mean, how much do you need? I mean, Tiger's a billionaire, basically. Does he need $100,000 or $200,000 to show up and play in Tampa at the X event?
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I hear you very, very much. should, you've got the DP tour that actually is doing pretty damn good this year as far as viewership and stuff. But Alex, do you think that there should be a major championship somewhere in Europe?
I mean, obviously outside the Open Championship.
Yes.
Yeah. No, no. I think I'm very comfortable with the media having ordained the four majors,
Okay.
and I don't need someone else to tell me we should have a fifth major or a sixth major like the LPGA has done.
Right.
You know, they decided that Avian is a major
Yeah.
because of the check that was written by Avian. Oddly enough, when there was Demorier was a major, the Avian was not a major, and then all of a sudden, boom! That next day they become a major. So all those wins by all those players before that were not major championships. Now, even the PGA Tour is not dumb enough to think that because we didn't think Old Tom and Young Tom and Mungo Park and the rest of them when they played the Open, they played the Open, so they got major championship credit for that. That's how that should be. So I don't want to get into all that. All I know is that we have four major championships in golf, and everybody knows what they are. And I don't need to see that changing any way, shape, or form.
Yeah. Which one is your favorite and why, Alex?
Well, the Open, and when I say the Open, I mean the Open,
Right.
which is the one that is obviously in the UK, is my favorite.
Me too.
Partly because it's a
Different kind of
it's a
golf.
whole different kettle of it's a whole different kettle of fish, right? It's pure it's pure golf as you're going to get, and if you walk the golf course or you talk to people that are at the venue, it's just a different vibe
Yeah.
than the vibe at a U.S. Open or a PGA Championship or the Masters. It's just different, and it's like a Ryder Cup in Europe is different than a Ryder Cup in the United States. It's just different. A major in Europe or the UK is just different than the majors here, and there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
The U.S. Open has its own, used to have its own identity. The PGA of America, PGA Championship kind of has its own identity, and obviously Augusta National clearly has its own identity. And the Open Championship has had its own identity since day one.
Yeah.
And has never changed.
True. But I like the Open too, because it is a different kind of golf. And I've been lucky enough to get over there and play a number of the courses on the Rota, and it's phenomenal. It is absolutely phenomenal. And if you have a chance to get over there and play Scotland, Ireland, or whatever, do yourself a favor and go, because it's kind of a bucket list thing. So, yeah. Last question before I take our next short break, Alex. If you were named commissioner of the PGA Tour for a day, what one or two rules would you change?
Wow, rule changes. That's kind of tough. On the course, I wouldn't change anything. There's nothing I can do that I think makes sense for me to change it. I would like to see slow play enforced, really enforced. I think every player would like to see it enforced. It's kind of like baseball. They really weren't into the shot clock when it started. But I think where we are today, 2 years later, what Theo Epstein did was absolutely the right thing. And I think baseball and baseball players and baseball owners all see it as the right thing.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's any different in golf. We need to get that part of it probably straightened out. I think the other part of the equation is if we need to take the best parts of LIV and incorporate them into the PGA Tour. And I think the best parts are the activation on site, and I also think the idea of a team concept is, I think, necessary for golf going forward. I think if you
I
had
agree.
teams, people would be more interested. If you have a team, you're going to have 4 or 5 or 6 players, whatever it's going to be. not every player is going to be a great player. In
No.
fact, actually, if you look at the PGA Tour today, how many players are really what I would call, you know, they're stir it up. I mean, which ones are the players that really get everybody excited?
Yeah.
And there's about five. So so now you got out of a field of 125, you got 120 that are not interesting, and you got five that are, and that's if all five show up. So so what do you do? And I think the team concept is what you do. I mean, look, in the Ryder Cup, you got guys that you never even heard of in your entire life on the European side.
Right.
Never heard of if you're a US fan. Yet it's so compelling and so interesting that you're talking about the Howard Clarks or the Mark Jameses after the fact.
Right.
And that's what you need
Yeah.
because they're part of it. That whole team concept, you need that, and we don't have that.
We don't have that. You're absolutely right. No, agree with you again. Agree with you again. All right, Alex, stand by. We're up against a hard break. We will come back very shortly and finish off with our special guest, Mr. Alex Miceli. Stay with us. The revolutionary Power to Golf Club is helping golfers around the world continue to enjoy the greatest game of all. This amazing club requires no swing to hit shots from 50 up to 225 yards. That's right, no swing to hit shots, including fades, draws, low shots, as well as high ones. One incredible club does it all. Golfers with a wide variety of physical issues, including bad backs, hips, shoulders, and more, are now back in the game golfing with friends and family. Just set the club to the desired distance, and with a push of the button, the easy-to-use Power to Golf Club launches shots down the fairway and onto the green. The Power to Golf Club has been endorsed by some of the biggest names in golf, and the number of golfers enjoying the game by use of our unique technology continues to grow. Whether a physical issue or just want to join in on the fun, the Power to Golf Club is for you. Don't be left on the sidelines. Get back in the game today. Visit at powergolfclub.com.
As golfers, we want instant gratification when it comes to a better golf swing and playing better golf. Impossible, you say? Not anymore. Golf Boost Artificial Intelligence (AI) has developed and patented the most advanced swing analysis technology in golf. Simply, the algorithms detect your body position and then analyze your golf swing using their artificial intelligence technology. The AI captures all the relevant data from your swing video and then presents you a personalized lesson. Golf Boost AI is the ultimate swing analysis and virtual instruction system for golfers of all ages and abilities. This sophisticated software takes into consideration your height and build, playing level, and returns the ideal solution for your swing. Bottom line, Golf Boost AI is an incredibly convenient and cost-effective tool for golfers to improve their swing. Go to golfboost.com and check it out. The app is free to download and try. Visit golfboost.com today.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We've got some time left with our very special guest. So happy to have him on the show, Mr. Alex Miceli. And Alex, let me ask you this. You keep hearing the term, the phrase, grow the game, grow the game. I'm sick of it. How the hell does somebody grow the game?
Well, I guess you have a national pandemic.
You're right. You're right. That really did it.
And somehow we haven't screwed it up since then.
Yeah,
We've
you're
kept it
right.
going. Look, I think people that started playing golf because of the pandemic have learned that actually golf is pretty cool. You get outside, you get
Yeah.
exercise, you get to spend time with friends. I mean, it's a great experience, and it can be that way every time you go out. And I think that's been a positive. And this is happening, by the way, Dennis, while there's this splinter going on between professional golf where You hear things about the Saudis and the
Uh-huh.
Live and the PGA Tour and the DP World Tour and whatever it is, you're hearing all these bad things. And all these bad things have done nothing to stop the growth of the game at the amateur level, which is terrific. So now it makes you wonder, if you're a manufacturer, why am I spending all this money on TV advertising and sponsorship and players and
Yep.
so forth and so on? I'm getting all these people playing my equipment and being interested in the game, yet you're not helping me over here on the other side.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think growing the game is no longer a concept that makes a lot of sense. I don't think it ever really did make a lot of sense. I think what you wanted to do is you wanted to get people introduced to the game, and from there, the introduction on its own is enough for people
get
that
'em.
want to stay. Because
Yeah.
let's be honest, you want people to stay. That's what you
Yeah.
want. You want them to come. You want them to enjoy. You want them to stay.
Totally.
And and golf, one of the things that you have to define as being a golfer now is not just going to a golf course and playing. There's top golf, as we talked about. There's driving ranges. There's all these different avenues to be able to participate in golf where you never step foot on a golf course and hit a golf ball.
Right.
And again, manufacturers are excited about that. Apparel makers are excited about that because golf is kind of cool right now. And so we just need to keep it that way. We have to keep it cool.
Yeah.
You know, my concern is that when we're talking about growing the game, people that have so much money are saying, well, for us to grow the game, we need to build more golf courses. We need to do this and do that. And the problem is the last time they did that, it was a disaster. I mean, you
Right.
could probably talk about it in Vegas. How many courses did they talk about building, or housing developments they talk about
Yep.
building, that ended up just, not working because
You're
we
right.
didn't have enough people to support them.
You're absolutely right.
So we got to
Absolutely
be
right.
careful. We got to be careful in what we do.
Is Alex Miceli going to be a golfer that adheres to the rule when they roll back the ball in a couple of years?
Well, they're not going to roll back the ball, but if they did roll back the ball, I don't know. I mean, let's put it this way: if I'm playing with a foursome and they're all playing with the same ball, then I'll play with whatever ball they're playing.
Yeah.
If they want to play from the yellow tees, I'll play from the yellow tees. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just, the thing about golf is we don't have to make it crazy hard.
No.
Let's just have fun.
Right.
So whatever it's going to be, whatever it is, when I'm playing with the other guys, that's fine. Or ladies or whatever it is, that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, I'm with you.
That's all.
I am with you. Tell us a little bit about your podcast, Alex. Where could people that are tuned in to this show find it, listen to you? Tell us about it.
Well, I haven't done anything, Dennis. I know you mentioned it. I haven't done anything for a while on the podcast side. Ever since Bob and when I just said to Bob Bupka, who you mentioned, who's a great guy and a great
Great
character,
guy.
when I said, Bob, I got to step back. I got so much stuff going on. I need to step back. I really haven't done anything from the podcast side. I've done more with Morning Read, working on another product that's on Substack called Daily Drive. And those are the things I've been working on the most. Some book ideas and things like that. So I really haven't done a lot with podcasting. And I usually don't get on very many podcasts either. So I'm not going to say you're lucky, but
I admit it.
But if you want to hear my banter or read my banter, it's more on a morning read kind
Yeah.
of thing than it is on morning listen.
Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe you and I should do another podcast, Alex. We'll forget Bubka. Yeah, he is such a great guy. I had him on about a month ago, and I love him. And
Bobby.
Yeah, he is.
He used to be a good stick, Dennis. He used to be a really good stick.
Bob did really.
Yeah, he played on Long Island.
Huh.
That's where he grew up.
I know Janice used to be a very good player. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she played a lot in Europe when she was married. Her husband was in the oil industry, and they lived up in Aberdeen. So she played Aberdeen, Cruden Bay, all that kind of stuff up there.
Wow. Nice. How much are you getting out? You're probably not playing a whole hell of a lot of golf, Alex.
I play a lot in Europe.
Okay.
I'm a member of a couple clubs in Europe, and I play a
Excuse
lot over
me.
there.
Yeah,
Well, I'm just
nice.
saying, you asked, I'm answering.
All right. Okay, that's awesome. Good for you. Good on you. All right, so when are you getting to Las Vegas again?
I'll be there in January for, like I said, the SHOT Show
For the SHOT
in
Show.
Vegas, and then I'll go right from there to AT&T
Okay.
in Pebble Beach. I don't think Liv's coming back to Vegas.
They have, well, they're having an event, a made-for-TV event at the Wynn Course, as you know about, which the money is disgusting. It's a guaranteed, $4 million for each of these guys showing up. But as far as an event, I don't think so. But I'll be in touch. Please bring your clubs so we can go out and play.
Yeah, I played, is it Las Vegas Country Club that they redid recently?
Yes.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Nice job.
They did I'm good friends with the architect. They improved it greatly. It's a terrific track. Anyway, Alex, I will let you go. Thank you so much for coming on. So enjoyable. We'd love to have you back again sooner than later, and hope we're lucky enough to get you. And we'll be in touch, my friend.
Thanks a lot, Dennis.
Stay well. Alex Miceli, everybody, great guy. We'll step away, another short break, and we'll come back, close the show.
Carter Bonus of Spectrum Golf not slowing down. His third year at the PGA Show, and the cameras are still following him. This time, Whistle Sports Media and Entertainment and Fox 35's morning show in Orlando, Florida. Carter, who is on the autism spectrum, has been Sports Illustrated Sports Kid of the Year, the Masters UPS Unstoppable CEO of the Year, all while securing a spot on the Stars of the Spectrum golf team created by former NFL quarterback Doug Flutie. Carter has been telling his incredible story about why he started his line of golf apparel around the globe, and his impact is making a difference.
I know that some stuff seems hard and that it's impossible, but one of my favorite quotes is, "It seems impossible until it's done." And over the past 3 years, I never thought I would get here and do all the stuff that I'm doing right now. Be Sports Illustrated Sports Kid of the Year for 2022. Be UPS's and the Masters Unstoppable CEO. Meet Steph Curry. Meet all of these good people. Meet Ernie Els, Alex Cheka. Meet all, and be speaking in schools and in front of all of you good people. And everyone that I've spoken to before. I never thought I would do any of this. When I was little, I thought I would be nothing. But now I'm actually here, and I am successful, and I am happy, and I am thriving, and I'm saying if I can do it, you guys can do it.
Carter, who loves playing golf, designed his own logo and put it on the softest material he could find because he has a skin sensitivity. So it not only looks good, but feels good too. He offers hats, belts, shirts, pants, and more. For more information, go to carterspectrumgolf.com.
One of the perks about being in golf media is that I get to try every club ever made. Of course, like most things, some are better than others. I'm here to tell you that I have found unquestionably the absolute best performing set of irons I have ever played, and my scores show it. Let me introduce you to Grindworks, custom fitted irons that are made to fit your game. Grindworks offers players 3 different styles of irons. You can choose muscleback irons, cavity back irons, and even blades, along with some awesome wedges. And when you purchase your clubs, Grindworks lets you choose the type of shaft you want, the type grip you prefer, and even will adjust the loft and lie of your clubs if needed. That's unheard of. So what are you waiting for? Feel the power and experience and performance of these amazing clubs. Simply go to grindworksusa.com or call 281-651-4046 to order. Trust me, your handicap will love you for it. Hi, I'm Dennis Silvers, but I'm not here today to talk to you about golf. I'm here to talk to you about America's favorite pastime, baseball. America's pastime is back and better than ever with a twist you won't believe. Introducing Old Timers Day, a movie coming soon to theaters near you.
It is a story detailing the greatest baseball game of all time. Two teams, one chosen by God, one chosen by Satan, with the greatest players of all time, living and deceased, playing alongside each other to determine the fate of mankind.
This book, world tour, and movie will help unify the millions of baseball fans around the country and help satisfy the millions of people that have faith and compassion for their fellow man.
Who will win this epic game? You'll have to watch to find out. Expect an unforgettable experience that will touch your heart and soul. The Good Old Boys is brought to you by the Celestial Baseball Association, who are hitting home runs for God. Old Timers Day, where the spirit of baseball meets the power of faith. Don't miss it. Order your copy today at dpztechnology.com/store. Get this, use promo code OTD20 for an amazing 20% off. All right, that's going to conclude this edition of the 19th Hole Golf Podcast. For Alex Miceli, I'm your host, Dennis Silvers, wishing you nothing but fairways and greens. If you get a chance, get out and play some golf. If the weather's good in your part of the country, the weather's great now in Las Vegas, back to normal, mid-60s, low 70s, no wind. It's absolutely terrific. And don't forget, get some magic in your hand, zebragolf.com. We'll see you back next week, everybody. So long.